A very good morning, dear IQ All-Stars, dear teachers, and welcome to this webinar regarding distance learning. So today we're gonna show you how you can easily start organizing distance learning in times that schools are closed and children need to follow the lessons from home. With IQ LearnUp, ladies and gentlemen, this has never been that easy to organize distance learning. So let's see what we're doing today. Let me jump to today's agenda. So today I will show you two easy ways to organize distance learning. Very easy, very straightforward. And secondly, Anneke, who is here with me today, Anneke Verbeek, our super IQ All-Star and education consultant, she will show you how you can easily create your lesson in IQ LearnUp. With all that, you should be ready to organize your version of distance learning with IQ Learn. So without further ado, let's go and look at one of the first or one of the two ways of organizing your distance learning. To do that, I'm going to open a new tab in my browser. I'm going to open IQ LearnUp once again, which I'm already logged into. As you can see, this should be clear for you to see on your screen as well. And I will go into the Plotclick library to open one of the available lessons. To do that, click on the button in the left corner below to open the menu, and then just open and go into the public library. As you can see, there are a lot of lessons available made by different teachers around the world. As you can see, there's some Russian there as well. Let's go forward with this lesson, which was made a topic that is very actual today, the coronavirus. So let's open that lesson directly, clicking on the check mark right there. And as you can see, this teacher has prepared a lesson with a video and some text. If I go through the pages in this lesson, you can see there are some different topics being handled, some graphs, the table right there. Of course, I could just switch with the arrows going to the next page and so on. Important to know here in this first way of working is that I will send this lesson to the students so they can work in this lesson individually, which means they will receive a personal copy of this lesson and will be able to open it, modify it, and send it back with all the modifications to the teacher. So let's see how that works. Very important to know that in this lesson, the teacher has also included a video. This video is able to watch from your teacher account, but also it will be able to be watched by the student when he or she opens the personal copy. So in this video, you can see how the coronavirus is being handled and so on and so forth. Specific information that is important going forward to the video. So it's a 9.5-minute video that you can watch. Just pause this video for now. There we go. Important to know that in this video, students will be able to capture all the content they need to know, all the information they need to know to answer the questions. For instance, also the title or the question, what are the main risks? Now, as a teacher, you can start modifying this lesson, this text object, as much as you want. Maybe you want to add another color. Let's do that in orange, for instance, and there we go. Now, if I want to add other questions, I can easily go to my page sorter, add a new page. There we go. So going to the next page, and I could add another question. For instance, what is the official name for the coronavirus? virus? Question mark. Let's make this text object a bit wider. I can also adjust the text size. Let's make that a bit bigger so I can add this question to the lesson that was prepared by somebody else. So I'm actually making my own version of this lesson. Going forward with the next step. So as a teacher, this is the first thing you do. You open your lesson, you make sure all the content that needs to be in that lesson is in there. Questions, videos, images. Again, Anneke will show you in the second part of this webinar how you can start creating that content. But for now, let's use this content that we have right now. To do so, I will go to the collaboration menu, and just to make sure that you know where I'm going to, well, it's right here. That's the menu I need to open. And then start sharing a file. So doing that, I will click File Sharing, which will open this menu right here, which enables me to create a new session. Doing so, I click on that button, and immediately the code will be visible on the screen, which is, in this case, X59591. Now, second step, or actually already third step, as I already created my sharing code. Third step will be for the students to connect to your lesson. To do that, they will open a website which is called the Connect website. The URL is on your screen right now, here on the top, connect.i3learnup.com. Important to know is that students don't need to install an app or any other software in able to connect with any lesson of the teacher. They just go to the website, connect.i3learnup.com, and enter the code that was on my screen. So for them, they just need to enter their name, enter the code. Again, the code was on my screen in the other tab right here. X59591. Right? So Anneke is here with me in the classroom, and she'll take over from here, sharing her screen and showing you how she is going to open the lesson that I shared. So Anneke, the floor is yours.
So, okay, for this moment, I am the student. I opened my URL, connect.i3learnup.com, and I will now fill in my name. I will fill in the code which I received from my teacher, Davy. I will accept terms of use, the privacy policy, and I connect to the file. It always takes a little while, which I can use to do some other things. And now, look, this is my file I received from my teacher. From this moment on, you can see that I can use all my tools from the toolbar to write something, to fill in the form, or even to watch the video my teacher sent me to. Like this. Okay, when I'm ready with my file, I can send it back to my teacher, Davy. You have this button down here, which is a screen with a little arrow. When I tap on that screen, I submit my file. The system asks me if I'm ready to submit my file, and yes, I am. I submit it. And on this moment on, my teacher can see that I fill in my form, and he can give some feedback to me as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Anneke, for clarifying how the student will open the lesson from the teacher. So now let's look at the teacher view immediately. So let me quickly share my screen. Let's do that immediately. There we go. So in the meantime, in my view, I still have the code that I shared with my students. continuing here beneath the QR code, I can see which participants have used the code to open the lesson. As you can see, Anneke and a student have opened this lesson, and I can immediately look at the version of the student, in this case right here. Okay, very easy to see in the preview mode. Now, if you want to open the version of that file that was delivered by the student, you just easily click the folder icon, which is on the right top corner here, and then I can open the file immediately. So I can see anything that Anneke had added with her pen tool, and if she would have answered this question, that would have been appeared on the same page here as well, right? So this is the first way of sending a file towards your students, being able to use it individually and then modify it and send it back to the teacher. That was the first way. Now the second way is to engage with your students remotely and live. So you will share a lesson directly with your students, and they will have the ability to work on that lesson along with you. So just as they would be in your classroom directly there physically. Now, how to do that? Well, first of all, it's important to start inviting the students through a video web conference tool, which in this case we are using Zoom on both screens here. Now, of course, just to make sure you don't need to have a big screen, you can perfectly just do that from your computer directly. But as I'm here in my sort of classroom directly, I'm using the screens that I have right here. Now, first of all, again, start your web conferencing tool and then invite your students. You can use Zoom like we are doing, but you also have the ability to use Skype, Hangouts, a Google Hangout, or some other online web conferencing tool, of course. Now, once you're connected and your students are right there, now I have the i360 right here, which gives me the ability to quickly jump through the shared board that I'm doing right now, or just watching my class in this mode right here. So I can also see that Anneke is connected to this call, and I can ask her to switch on her camera, which she did right now, and there's Anneke. Hi there. Now she's in the same room with me. Of course, when you have a student that is on a remote location, then of course you can ask your student to switch on the mic better, and then let them talk during your class. That would be possible, of course. Every web conferencing tool also offers a way to sort of raise a hand, so the students will be able to first raise a hand before starting to talk, which gives you the ability to sort of manage who is talking during your lesson, and they don't start talking all together at the same time, of course. Now that all relates to specific functions of the web conferencing tool. Now let's go further in how to do that with iTunes. So how can I start remotely sharing my lesson with my students? So let me go over here back to my lesson, and let's just quickly jump to a new lesson here in iTunes. Let me open a new tab. There we go. And then opening the public library just as I did before, opening right here, and then I might find a lesson. Let's take a lesson about the European map. Here we go. So this lesson is one that I want to share with my students immediately. I can select it and open it with a check mark in the right corner below. Again, this lesson is made to work together on the same board, live. So students are in the classroom or at home and will be connected to this lesson remotely. Good. To do that, first of all, it would be interesting to know what they need to do, of course, on this exercise. So the exercise is pretty easy. They just need to start dragging the countries on the right position. Now, how to share this with my students? So, for instance, Anneke can also start playing around with the map here. I will go to the collaboration menu, which is here in the toolbar, which we already used for the first way of working. And then I'm not gonna start a file sharing session. No, I'm gonna start a session sharing moment here. Activating that, I will get the same menu here, which allows me to start or create a new session immediately. So hitting that button, I will get a message. You want to use your current board or a blank board. Of course, we'll be using current board. Let's open that immediately. Just accepting the message that I get from my browser, and immediately I will switch over to the remote way of working. As you can see at this point, I'm the only one in the session as a host. The session code is S95967. Now, at this point, Anneke will be entering that same code in the Connect website, which we already used before. Going back to my map. And in the meantime, I see that Anneke has already accepted this code, and she can start dragging the countries around, as you can see right now. But maybe as a teacher, I do want to first give some instructions so I can start presenting, which will immediately lock the user abilities of my student. So Anneke at this point will not have any access to the tools in the toolbar right now. So she's actually obligated to follow my lesson. That means that she will also see me jumping to a next page or a third page, and I can start writing things down right here on my board, which she will see actually immediately on her screen. So these are some notes that I want to share directly. Okay. Now maybe I want to get an answer from Anneke, which I can ask, and whenever I'm ready for her to start collaborating with me, I will stop presenting right there, and she will be able to activate her text function and to type an answer next to the word that I just wrote down. So that's what she's doing right now, and let's see, that's her answer. Going back to the first page, there we go. And let me just quickly close this collaboration menu. And right now, Anneke will be starting to sort of dragging the countries around. There you go, there goes Belgium, and another country. There's Portugal, and so on and so forth. So right now, Anneke is putting the map together as we speak. At the meantime, I can just take my arrow and also drag countries around, which she will see on her screen as well. So that's how easy that works. So 2 easy ways of collaborating together in the classroom with content that is made in iTree. Now, you might ask yourself, how do you create a lesson like that in Learn, right? Well, luckily, we have Anneke here in our classroom ready for you to show how you can do that in a very easy way. So Anneke, I'm quickly going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to ask you to start sharing yours, and let's see what you've got for us.
Okay, thank you, Davy. So for now, I start teaching you a little bit how to create a lesson. So Davy already told you how you can fill in some text or things like this, but let's start with iTree Lens. iTree Lens is an easy tool where you just need to install an app on your phone, which is iTree Lens. You can find it in the Android store or in the Apple store. You just download it and you fill in with the same credentials as
As
your
your
IT
IT learner.
This is very important because on this moment, when you have a picture, you can easily have it in your own private library. I think David told you before, but on this moment, you can use i3 Learner for free, which means you can have the ability to use all the paid tools, but now for free. Means that you can also use i3 Lens. i3 Lens is necessary on a paid account because you have or you need your own personal account. David will assist me a little bit by showing how you can use i3 Lens on your phone. So let's start. This is how you will see it the first time. This means you have your phone and you use your i3 Lens app. When you open it, after the first time putting your credentials from i3 Learn Hub, you will see this, a gray page with a plus. By tapping on the plus, you can take a picture. Davey will show it to you. Okay. Davey now has the choice to take a photo from his library or take a picture of, for example, this page with a crossword. He will take a picture of it and it will appear on his phone like you can see this one. It's a bit the same. You will have a blue square with some green dots when you can crop your image. After cropping your image, you just go to the Save button, and when you saved it, it will appear in your i3 Learn. Where will it be? Well, over here, you have your library. When you go to Images, you go to My Content, and then you will see that the picture you've taken with your phone, you can add it right away into your i3 Learn Hub lesson. From this moment on, you can actually take your pen and your students can fill in, can look at the words, and they can fill in their crossword. A very easy way, actually the most easy way to start a lesson with your students, because you don't need to scan in your document. You can easily put it on this way on your screen. Okay, another thing you need to create some lessons is the input of images. Not only on this way, like we did it with the document, but you can also look for an example in your library, for example. Let's search for an apple. Oh, there isn't any picture of it, but look, we got the internet. You go right away to the internet. You can just choose a lot of images, and here they are. You can see your images over there, and you can play around with it. This is one way to use it. Another way, sometimes easier because you can have a lot more images, is go to the internet. At the internet, you also fill in a word you need to look for, you go to the images, and over here, you just tap on your image, you copy your image, and then you go with your copy paste, and you go right away in your document. Very easy. As Davey already showed you, you can also add some text. You take your arrow, with the arrow, it becomes an object. You can put it together. select both things and group it. Very easy. If this is all a little bit too fast for you, don't hesitate to look at our Facebook page, because in the next days we will actually put a lot of tutorials with tips and tricks for you to add nice things into your i3 Learn Hub lessons. But of course, I can hear you thinking, there will be, of course, some extra content which you need. We can give you actually some extra content. Let's see about some applications. There are some apps in our i3 Learn Hub, for example, these ones, which you can use very easily. You just tap on it. You see the green line around the application. You tap on this one, on the green button, and here it goes. For this one, you can make some exercises for your students, and they can easily go and play around with some money. This is a thing you can add very easy in a math lesson. But of course, let's do some other things. You've seen maybe those 3D contents. Those 3D contents from LifeLife are actually 3D models which you can use in a lesson from biology or so on. So physics, chemistry, and things like that. Very nice, because you also have the introduction, where you can go and you can actually change your language in the language you need. English, for example, Spanish, German, everything you want. And now you will see, when I open the introduction, you can see everything is already translated in the language you want. Very nice to use, because look at this, you can turn it around, and actually this could be an example where your students need to make a paper of. Something like they need to search some issues and they need to write something down. Very nice way to collaborate with your kids, of course. But what if there is some things you want to have from the internet and you want to include it in your lessons? Let's take, for example, a Wikipedia. I just opened a Wikipedia. I can now copy my URL. I go back to my i3 Learner, and I actually activated the globe down here in my toolbar. I now copy, paste my URL, I enter, and look, my Wikipedia site is now in WebFrame in my lesson, which means I can now save it. Let's go to the save button. I'm not going to take the save because this is an open lesson, so I'm going to save as, because now I can show you the steps. I can choose where I want to save it in my personal storage, and that's for you now maybe a new one, because you can only have the personal storage when you have a paid license, or in these times where every teacher needs to work a little bit harder, you can also put it in a marketplace where you can share your lesson with a teacher. Let's go to my personal storage for this one. I will fill in a name for my file, test, webinar. I go to the next step. What is the grade? Let's say secondary. Subject, let's say mathematics. I go to my next step. You can add some hashtags, which makes it a little bit easier for you to search afterwards. And there you go. Here's your lesson, ready to share with your students, with all the things we've already put in right away in your lesson, ready to share. Now let's take another last thing, and it's the activity builder. With the activity builder, you can use those templates which are easy to fill in with your own content. Let's take for example, the multiple choice. You can also select your language. It could be English, but it could be German or Spanish as well, and just say, okay, let's insert a question. What is the name of the virus? For example, the correct answer is coronavirus. Wrong answer could be Serena, or another one could be and okay, let's go. The next thing is you can add more questions if you want, of course. The next thing is give your activity a name. Webinar test will be my name. I can choose keyboard and touch controls because on that moment your students are allowed to use the arrows, or when they use it on a tablet, they can use their fingers. I can choose how many players, time limits. You need to see what you will use. Where is the place you want to save it? Marketplace and personal, same as before. Let's take secondary level, age of the kids for 14 years, and let's go further. The last step is very nice because you can add another color when you have more than one exercise. It's nice for your students. And go. This is my exercise I created. What is the name of the virus? Kids need to see which one they need to tap, and so an extra exercise for them. So I think those are the nice things you can do with it. And as you can see, you can also check later to see what is the correct answer. So I think those are the most important and first tools you can use in i3 LearnHub to start with. Like I said before, you can start following our i3 All-Stars page on Facebook, where we will put on some tutorials and some extras for you, which you can use in your lessons in these times where it's not so easy for a teacher to give their students some lessons. So, okay, Davey, I think I'm going back to you. I stop sharing my screen, and there you go.
Yes, thank you very much, Anneke. Thank you for showing our i3 All-Stars how you can easily start creating your very own lesson. And of course, as already was pointed out by Anneke, you can find a lot of nice tips and tricks on our Facebook page. We will be sharing those ideas every day. So please keep track of our Facebook page and, of course, the newsletters that we are sharing with you with all that information. Now, before we end this broadcasting, let me quickly just share my screen again. There we go. And let us take the last part that we want to share with you. Anneke already shared that news that you are able to use a 1-year free license of i3 LearnHub. So for those teachers that are already using LearnHub in the free account, are able to activate the individual, let me quickly take another color here, the individual license for free with this voucher code. So i3LH 2020 is the voucher code you need to upgrade your account for free, okay? Now in the newsletter that we shared, we also included a step-by-step video that shows you how you can upgrade for free if you already have an account. For those that don't have an account yet, well, even easier, you just go to LearnUp, you create a new account, but please choose an individual account, so not the free account. Choose an individual account, and then use the voucher code that was shared with you in this webinar, which is, again, i3LH 2020. Next, if you have other questions about using i3 LearnUp, about distance learning, about all those things that relate to us, please send us a mail on i3allstars@i3technologies.com or respond on the newsletter that you receive. That will go back to the same address. And again, I can't repeat enough that everything that we share will also be shared on our Facebook page, which you can find by searching for i3 Allstars. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. That's it for us. In these times, it is very important for us to make sure that we can reach out to our students as much as we can if they're working from home or from another spot. I think these tools can really help you out here to start learning collaboratively and remotely. Again, if you have other questions, please drop us a mail. And if not, we'll see you in another webinar or other presentation. Thank you very much and take care. Bye-bye.